We're now joined by Professor John Stremlau, an honorary professor of international relations at the Wits University. Professor, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's firstly get your reaction when it comes to the breaking news that we saw coming in this evening.
Well, it is breaking news, but it was very good news from my perspective. And I think that Joe Biden ought to be congratulated for his gracious letter to the American people, which I've read, that is really very inspiring to me, and a reminder that the MAGA crowd that is surrounding Donald Trump is really a reflection of a minority that could never win a popular vote. And it's very hard to get this point across to South Africans who have a great constitution, much better than the antiquated constitution that the Americans have, that gives small states disproportionate power, and they have combined to gerrymander and to reestablish congressional districts in a way that punishes the majority, and that Hillary Clinton in 2016 won by 3 million votes. Joe Biden did by 7 million votes, and I expect that Kamala Harris will win by 10 million votes. But whether or not she can prevail in the swing states that are highly contested, where the likelihood of a closer race, as was the case in 2020, is a million-dollar question. But I think that she will appeal to youth and to women and to minorities. And she is an exemplary a person who has served in the Senate, unlike J.D. Vance, for several years, and before that was a district attorney and attorney general in California, which is has a larger economy than all countries except for 4 others. And it's amazing that they only have 2 senators in Washington, whereas little Idaho, with only a few 100,000 people, has 2 senators as well. And that's, again, a distortion of the democratic system. But if the Democrats can win the House and the Senate, as well as the White House, we might see real change, progressive change. But that's a long way off. November 5th is far away still for voters, and they will only probably focus on this now and in the future.
And Professor, would you say, I mean, looking at what has transpired over the past couple of months, when it comes to the US President Joe Biden, that the writing has always been on the wall, considering the amount of criticism that he has received for his age and for his performance and his health, also considering that very dismal performance we saw in that debate with Donald Trump?
Well, that's a very good point to remind ourselves that Joe Biden is a decent man and was an outstanding president, but he's not quite the guy that I certainly have grown to know and as a public official. And by the way, he was championing majority rule in South Africa in '86 and led the Senate to overturn the Reagan veto of that bill. And so, you know, he is an admirable guy, but he was obviously impaired by the aging process that we all go through. And it was just terrible to watch the debate and to see how far he slipped down, and to know that he would be 87 at the time of his retirement if he ran for a second term. And maybe, just maybe, he took inspiration from Nelson Mandela, who was 82 when he decided not to run, and Biden is about to turn 82 and in November. And so, you know, it's it's poetic, and I'm heartened by the fact that Kamala Harris will appeal to youth and to a variety of diverse Americans, which is becoming increasingly a majority-minority country, or minority-majority country, I guess is the term that is symptomatic of an increasing diversity. So if you believe in inherent equality, as I do, this is a great opportunity for Kamala Harris to step up and mobilize youth and women and I hope win.
What task is at hand here for Kamala Harris, especially considering that it has been a Joe Biden campaign, and that's something that our U.S. correspondent touched on the most, that it's really been a couple of years of course, rallying behind Joe Biden for a second term, and now just 4 months before the elections. One would say that it certainly won't be an easy road for her, considering the timing, especially that it's just a few more months left until the Americans go to the polls.
Well, I still think that she is reflecting a majority view, and even Donald Trump would acknowledge that the Republicans can no longer win a popular vote in the states. In a way, it's reminiscent of Jacob Zuma's call for a parliamentary and traditional system here. That's what Donald Trump and the MAGA crowd that are concerned about the slippage of white Christian male domination of the United States for years and years and centuries, and that's changing. And so it may not be the right time, but on the other hand, if it is, and Kamala Harris can win and win big, this will be a turning point for the democracy that has been heralded since 1776 Declaration of Independence, which stressed inherent equality, even though it was only applying to men back there. But now it's a very diverse country, and she's a talented woman who can maybe take on Donald Trump in a way that he's not accustomed to, or that Joe Biden couldn't do. He just is too old.
Sticking to that, when it comes to her performance and looking at the campaign that has been run by Donald Trump, what chance does she have to actually surpass him? And of course, being supported by the Democrats in August, and should she run for the office and surpass him, what are the chances of that taking place in America?
Well, we'll have to see, but at the debate the other night with Biden, everyone was concerned about Biden's poor performance, but they didn't evaluate the lying and misrepresentation and authoritarian bent of his opponent, Donald Trump. And Kamala Harris, as a former attorney general and prosecutor in California, proved to be a very effective senator in cross-examination of candidates for the Supreme Court. I think about Brett Kavanaugh, for example, and she will not put up with the kind of lying and misrepresentation and invention and racism that is endemic to Donald Trump's personality. And so call him out. And don't forget, Donald Trump is only 3 years younger than Joe Biden, and he's well preserved, the Orange Menace, but he's not really makes sense ever in his pronouncements if you take it apart. And you can't be objective about this, because when you're dealing with a liar, it's impossible to say that it's fair game. You've got to play within rules. And Donald Trump has challenged the democracy and the integrity of the elections, and in a way that is prone to violence, and to dismiss the West, the middle class, and the opinion of the majority of Americans will be tested on November 5th. And I hope that Kamala Harris proves up to the challenge, and I think she will be.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for that insight and for your analysis.